Hey guys, I'm GX for Fun here, and today we're going to talk about Unstable. My Iconic Masters box is late, so it's probably not going to be open until Monday or Tuesday. I apologize for that. It's not really in my control. So yeah, we're going to go through some of the spoilers that are already revealed for Iconic Masters, and we're just going to have some fun, or not Iconic Masters. Unstable. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to start with contraptions. So I don't really understand how these work. If somebody could explain it to me in the comments, I'd be really appreciative. I tried figuring out how it works, and I just don't really understand. Whenever you crank BB gun until end of turn, target creature gains pay 2. This creature fights another target creature. So that's the first one. The second one is Boom Flinger. Whenever you crank Boom Flinger, roll 2 6-sided dice. Boom Flinger deals damage to target player equal to the difference between those results. Then we have Division Table. Whenever you crank Division Table, target player loses 2 life. Then we have Dog Snail Engine. Whenever you crank Dog Snail Engine, target player gains life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Dual Doom Suits. Whenever you crank Dual Doom Suits, each time a source you control would deal damage this turn, it deals double that damage instead. Then we have Genetic Recombinator. Whenever you crank it, return 2 target creature... return. I can't speak today, I'm so sorry. Up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn. Hardhead Area. Whenever you crank Hardhead Area, roll 2 6-sided dice. Hardhead Area assembles a number of contraptions equal to the difference between those results. And it says to assemble a contraption, put the top card of your contraption deck face up onto one of your sprockets. Then we have Inflation Station. Whenever you crank Inflation Station, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. And I feel like it should give flying, but it doesn't. And now we're going to talk about lands. So we have Water Market. It's the only non-basic land that's been revealed so far, so you tap it, add 2 generic or 2 colorless to your mana pool, spend this mana to only cast spells with watermarks. And then we have the full art basic lands that were spoiled a long time ago. I really enjoy these. I think they look really nice. I think my favorite one is probably the Plains, just because I like the way it looks. And if I had to pick one that I didn't like the most, it would probably be the Swamp. I just think it looks kind of goofy. So yeah, the forest, the island, the mountain, the plains, and the swamp, they all look really, really pretty good. And now we're going to talk about multicolored creatures. Or, well, not just creatures, just multicolored cards. So the first one we have is Baron von Count. So he's a 3/3 for 3 legendary human villain. When he enters the battlefield, with a doom counter on 5. Whenever you cast a spell with the indicated numeral in its mana cost, text box, power, or toughness, move the doom counter 1 numeral to the left. When the chosen doom counter moves from 1, destroy target player and put a doom counter on 5. So you basically just get to destroy a player over and over again. Seems totally legit. Then we have Better Than 1. It's a 2-drop sorcery. A person outside the game becomes your teammate. You choose any number of cards in your hand on top of your library on the battlefield under your control. Those cards become your teammate's hand, library, and permanents respectively. Then we have Dr. Julius Jumblemorph. He is a 4/4 for 4 legendary creature. He is every creature type, even if the card is not on the battlefield. Whenever a host enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library and or graveyard for a card with Augment and combine it with that host. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. Then we have Griselda Monster Masher. She's a 4/4 for 5. Combine enchanted and equipped creatures have menace. You pay 5, put 2 target creature cards from graveyards onto the battlefield, combine into 1 creature under your control. Its power is equal to the total power, its toughness is equal to the total toughness, and it has their names, mana costs, types, text boxes, etc. That would be a really fun commander to build. Then we have Mario Kill. It's a 5/5 for 6, and it has the Shadowmoor split mana, hybrid mana cost, I think is what it is. And then you can pay a black, red, and a black or a red and a colorless. Switch a Killbot or Mario Kill in your hand with 1 on the battlefield. If the creature is tapped, the switch creature is tapped. The same is true for untapped, attacking, blocking, enchanted, equipped, and targeted. Any counters on a creature on the switch creature instead. And then we have the Grand Calcutron. So it's a 2-drop legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, each player's hand becomes a program. In ordered row with revealed cards. Players can only play the first card in their program. If a card would be put into a player's hand from anywhere, that player reveals it and places it anywhere within his or her program instead. At the beginning of each player's end step, if that player's program has fewer than 5 cards, they draw cards equal to the difference. Now we're going to talk about artifacts. So the first one we have is Buzzing Wackadoodle. It is a 4-drop artifact. It enters the battlefield. You and your opponent each secretly choose Whack or Doodle. Then those choices are revealed. If the choices match, Buzzing Wackadoodle has that ability. Otherwise, it has Buzz. So Whack is tap it, target player loses 2 life. Doodle is tap it, you gain 3 life. Buzz is pay 2, tap it, and draw a card. Then we have Clock of Doom. Pay 4, move the crank counter to your contraption deck's next sprocket and crank any number of that sprocket's contraptions. And then we have Curious Killbot. It's a 2/1 for 2. That's all it is. And then we have Kind Slaver. I'm sorry that the picture's so blurry. This is the only one that I could find right now. It is a 5-drop legendary artifact. You pay 5, tap it, sacrifice Kind Slaver. A person outside the game controls target player during that player's next turn. Neither player may advise that person until the end of turn. And then we have Crack's Other Thumb. So it's a 2-drop legendary artifact. If you would roll a die, instead roll 2 of those and ignore one of the results. And then Modular Monstrosity. It's a 7-drop 3/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you have 5 seconds to choose a keyword you haven't chosen for a card named Modular Monstrosity today that's been printed on a creature card. If you do, Modular Monstrosity gains that ability. Otherwise, Modular Monstrosity loses all keyword abilities. Then we have Split Screen. It's a 4-drop artifact. When Split Screen enters the battlefield, shuffle your library and deal it into 4 libraries. If anything refers to your library, choose one of them for it. Play with the library's top card revealed, and when Split Screen leaves the battlefield, shuffle your libraries together. Then we have Stamp of Approval. When Stamp of Approval enters the battlefield, choose a watermark. Creatures with the chosen watermark get +1/+1. And then one of my favorites in this set is Sword of Dungeons and Dragons. It is a 3-drop artifact. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from rogues and clerics. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a 4/4 gold dragon creature token with flying and roll a d20. If you roll a 20, repeat this process. So it's just like the sword cycle, but it's goofy. So there's this new thing called host creatures, and there's only been a couple of them revealed. So basically there's creatures with augment, which we'll get to later, that you can combine with these to make kind of like a super creature, I guess you would call it. So the first one we have is Adorable Kitten. It is a 1/1 for 1 white. When this creature enters the battlefield, roll a 6-sided die. You gain life equal to the result. Then we have Labrobot. It's a 3/3 for 5. When this creature enters the battlefield, return target host card or card with augment from your graveyard to your hand. Then we have Merman. Merman is a 3/3 for 5. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Then Ordinary Pony is a 2/3 for 3. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-horse creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. And those are the only 4 of those that have been revealed so far. And next we're going to talk about black cards. So we have Capital Offense. It's a 4-drop instant. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of times a capital letter appears in its rules text. Ignore reminder text and flavor text. And then we have Extremely Slow Zombie. It's a 3/3 for 2 with Last Strike. This creature deals damage after creatures without Last Strike. Then Finders Keepers. It's a 6-drop sorcery. Destroy target creature, then assemble a contraption. Put the top card of your contraption deck face up onto one of your sprockets. And then we have Hangman. He's a 1/1 for 1. He enters the battlefield. When he enters the battlefield, secretly note a word with 6 to 8 letters. Pay 1. Target player who doesn't control Hangman guesses the noted word or an unguessed letter in that word. If he or she guesses wrong, put a +1/+1 counter on Hangman. Any player may activate this ability. Whenever a player guesses the noted word or all of the letters, sacrifice Hangman. Over My Dead Bodies. It's a 6-drop enchantment. Creatures in your graveyard can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Can block as though they were blocked only by creatures in the graveyards. In graveyards are zombies in addition to other types and have Undeath Touch. If they would deal damage to a creature card, exile that creature instead. Creatures in your graveyard have haste. That seems really, really good. Then we have Snickering Squirrel. It's a 1/1 for 1. You may tap Snickering Squirrel to increase the result of any die roll by 1. And then Spike, Tournament Grinder. It is a 1/1 for 4, 2 Phyrexian mana symbols and 2 colorless. The Phyrexian mana can either be paid with black or 2 life, and then you pay 4 or 8 life. Choose a card you own from outside the game that has been banned or restricted in a constructed format. Reveal that card and put it to your hand. Huh. Interesting. And then we have Squirrel Powered Scheme. Increase the result of each die you roll by 2. Okay. Summon the pack. It's an 8-drop sorcery. Open a sealed magic booster pack. Reveal the cards and put all creatures revealed this way into the battlefield under your control. There are zombies in addition to their other types. Huh. And now we have blue cards. We have Insight. It's a 2 and X sorcery. Assemble X contraptions, and that's it. And then we have Kindly Cognition. It's a 1/3 for 2. Spells you cast that refer to artifacts or contraptions in the rule text cost 1 less to cast. That seems like it's pretty good. More or Less is a 1-drop instant. Add or subtract 1 or 1 from a number or numbered word on target spell or permanent until end of turn. Very cryptic command. So it's a 4-drop. It's just like regular cryptic command. You choose 2. Untap 2 target permanents. Tap each permanent target player controls with exactly 1 word in its name. Discard all cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So that's pretty good. There's no counter spell, but I still think that's really good. Then we have Wall of Fortune. It's an 0/4 for 2 with Defender. You may tap an untapped wall you control to have player reroll a die that player rolled. Now we're going to talk about green. So we have Druid of the Sacred Beaker. It's a 2/2 for 3, and you tap, add a green to your mana pool for each Crossbreed Labs watermark among creatures you control. And then we have Earl of Squirrel. He's a 4/4 for 6 with Squirreling. Damage dealt by this creature also causes you to create that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Creature tokens you control are squirrels in addition to other creature types. Other squirrels you control get +1/+1. And then this is the promo for Earl of Squirrel. I think the regular art's much cooler. Then we have First Pick. It's a 4-drop instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and assemble a contraption. Then we have Hydradoodle. It's a 2X and 2 green. As Hydradoodle enters the battlefield, roll X 6-sided dice. Hydradoodle enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the total of those results. And it has Reach and Trample. Ineffable Blessing, I think. It's a 2-drop enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, choose Flavorful or Bland. Flavorful, whenever a creature with flavor text enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And Bland, whenever a creature without flavor text enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Huh. And then this is one of the things that one of the creatures is Augment, so it's Monkey. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, and obviously you would put it on one of the creatures, and then it has Augment for 3. So you reveal it from your hand and combine it with target host creature. You can augment only as a sorcery. And then we have Multi-Headed. At the beginning of each end step, if you roll a die this turn, and it has Augment of 5. And then Selfie Preservation. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it. If it's a tree in its art, put it into the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And then we have Shelfant. It's a question mark for 3. Pay 0, choose 1. You may activate this ability while Shelfant is in any zone. Shelfant has a base power of 1/4. Shelfant has a base power and toughness of 3/3. And then we have Slaying Mantis. It's a 6/6 for 7. Just a second. As long as this card is on the stack, players can't move cards on the battlefield. Slaying Mantis enters the battlefield by being thrown from a distance of at least 3 feet. When Slaying Mantis enters the battlefield, if it fights each creature an opponent controls that touched it as it entered. Then we have Steamflogger Service Rep. It's a 1/1 for 3. When another goblin enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, Steamflogger Service Rep assembles a contraption. And then we have Willing Test Subject. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher on a die, put a +1/+1 counter on Willing Test Subject, and you can pay 6 to roll a 6-sided die. And now we're going to move on to red. So the first one we have is Hammerfest Boomtacular. Whenever you cast a spell with a Goblin Explosioneer's watermark, Hammerfest Boomtacular deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Then we have Hammerjammer. It is a 0/0 for 4. Enters the battlefield, roll a 6-sided die. It enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the result. Whenever you roll a die, remove all +1/+1 counters from Hammerjammer. Then put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that result. Then we have Party Crasher. It's a 3/3 for 5 with haste. You can attack with Party Crasher once each combat during each opponent's turn. Steam Vlogger Boss. This is one of the first cards that was revealed, actually. So it's a 3/3 for 4. Other riggers you control get +1/+0 and have haste. If a rigger you control would assemble a contraption, it assembles 2 contraptions instead. Steam Flogger of the Month. When Steam Flogger of the Month enters the battlefield, it assembles a contraption for each contraption you control. Super Duper Death Ray. It is a 3-drop instant with trample. This spell can deal excess damage to target's controller. Super Duper Death Ray deals 4 damage to target creature. Then we have the countdown is at 1. Players play a magic sub-game starting at 1 life and using their libraries as their decks. For the rest of the main game, if a source would deal damage to that player who didn't win the sub-game, it deals double that damage to that player instead. 3-headed Goblin has triple strike. This creature deals first strike, regular, and last strike combat damage. Okay. Work a double. It's a 4-drop sorcery, assemble 2 contraptions. And the last color we have is white. So the first one we have is Aerial Toastmaster. It's a 3/2 for 4 with flying, pay 4, sacrifice another artifact. Aerial Toastmaster assembles a contraption. Then we have Aether. I don't know how you say that. Anyways, sacrifice it, destroy target enchantment. That's pretty good. And then By No Means, I love puns. It is a 3-drop enchantment. Pay 2, remove a counter from a permanent you control, create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. Sacrifice an artifact, choose any kind of counter on a printed card choose any kind of counter a printed card refers to, then put one of those counters on target permanent. There's no place like gnome. Oh, that card's so good. Do-It-Yourself Seraph. So it's a 6-drop 4/4. With flying, whenever your Do-It-Yourself Seraph attacks, you may search your library for an artifact card, exile, then shuffle your library. Do-It-Yourself Seraph has the text box for each exiled card with Do-It-Yourself Seraph in addition to its own. And then this is another one of the augmented creatures, and it's half kitten, half whenever you're dealt damage, and it has augment for 3. Then we have Jack Knight. It's a 1/1 for 2. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Jack Knight. If that artifact is a contraption, Jack Knight gains lifelink until end of turn. And then we have Midlife Upgrade. It's a 4-drop sorcery. In addition to cast Midlife Upgrade, sacrifice X contraptions and assemble X +1 contraptions. Then we have Rules Lawyer. State-based actions don't apply to you or other permanents you control. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life, or drawing from empty library. Your creatures aren't destroyed due to damage or death touch, and aren't put into the graveyard due to having 0 or less toughness. Your planeswalkers aren't put into the graveyard if they have 0 loyalty. You don't put a legendary permanent into your graveyard if you control one with the same name. Counters aren't removed from your permanents due to game rules. Permanents you control, attached or combined illegally, remain on the battlefield. For complete rules and regulations, see Rule 704. And then that's the promo for that. I think the original art's much better than the promo in this case. Then we have Side Quest. It's a 1-drop sorcery. Target player in a silver bordered game you can see from your seat gains control of target creature you control until your next turn. At the beginning of your next upkeep, put 2 +1/+1 counters on that creature. And that is all the spoilers for Unstable. It looks really fun, and I think it could be pretty exciting to draft. I'm probably not going to be buying very much of it though, because it's just not something that interests me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.